Tennessee Vols will stay at Lindsey Nelson Stadium for a weekend at least to try to defend their national championship. It was an up and down year for the Vols. More down than up late in the season, probably. Some defensive issues, but still a very talented team. They'll get a talented Wake Forest team with the Tennessee connection and Matthew Dallas, who should pitch this weekend, and a couple of very talented pro prospects as well. You've got a Cincinnati team is the 3 seed from the Big 12 that doesn't play in the NCAA tournament a lot, but can really run, something that gives Tennessee trouble. And then we got a Miami of Ohio team with a couple of good pitchers, including one who's gone the distance lately, Alfred. Should be a fun regional in Knoxville.
Very fun. I will say, I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you did avoid some teams maybe that you didn't want, although Wake Forest is kind of tough. The outlook for Tennessee I have, though, you had a pretty good Hoover. You just lost to the SEC tournament champ in the end. But besides that, the 2 games before were good. I think you're locked and loaded and ready for the NCAA tournament to start and your title defense to begin.
Yeah, let's start with, I think this is what we'll do. We'll go Tennessee and Miami, kind of break that one down, look at Wake and Cincinnati, because really who loses that first game has a lot to do with the shape of the tournament from there. Tennessee, I think, is going to go in this one Marcus Phillips, and I guess they'll save Liam Doyle for Saturday, get him a little bit more rest. He struggled lately. Phillips is a potential major league pitcher, supremely talented, can touch 100, has trouble holding runners on, but very, very athletic and got very powerful stuff and was a pretty good pitcher for them most of the year. I think Phillips you can count on for 4 to 6 good innings most of the time. He is a right-hander. He'll be facing a Miami of Ohio lineup that is pretty balanced. Anthony Zarlingo, their center fielder, is a switch hitter. They've got Ty Batusic, Dominic Krapinski, Ryan Novak, and Tommy Harrison of their regulars are all starters. So they could actually throw, 6 lefties against Phillips. Miami of Ohio, a little bit of power there. Evan Applewick, 19 home runs. David Novak, 13. Dylan Baker, 13. And Miami doesn't really run much, 44 steals, 13 caught stealing this year. That's something to watch. So I think that'll be interesting. The Tennessee lineup, I'm interested to see where they go. Obviously, the Vols have had defensive issues up the middle, especially with Dean Curley at second. But I feel like one bright spot for Tennessee lately is Levi Clark, who could DH. He could play in left, although you don't think they'll want to get Dalton Bargo out of the lineup there. The Vols still have got some veteran hitters. Andrew Fischer right now might be the toughest out in the country. Gavin Kilen hit a little bit in Hoover. How do we see this day one matchup between Tennessee and Miami? And, oh, by the way, for Miami, I'm guessing they're going to throw, I believe we think it's Cooper Kasky, who's pretty good, 81 2/3 innings. This year had a 2.66 ERA, does not put a lot of guys on base. He's got a home run rate of 0.9%. That's always something to watch in Lindsey Nelson Stadium as he keeps the ball on the ground a decent amount, and had a whip, if you include hit batsman, of 1.02 this year. So, yeah, I don't know how that translates to Knoxville, but, he's been great for them on the Hill.
Very good. MAC tournament against Kent State, his start he had there, had a complete game against the Golden Flashes. Now Tennessee is a better team than the Kent State Golden Flashes. That's obvious, but he's been on a heater lately, and that's what he needs to have, going into Knoxville to play this team. Chris, I'm going to return a question to you, and I think I hate to do this while we're recording, but I figured I'd do it anyway. Does Tennessee do a bullpen game against Miami of Ohio?
That's a good question. I don't know that I would. Their bullpen has been a little rocky lately. Now, they've got some really good arms, and Arvidson was good in the SEC tournament. Dylan Lloyd's been good most of the season, has struggled down the stretch. They've got some other very talented arms there, but those might be arms you're going to need later in the tournament. So I think you go Phillips, especially because you could see Cincinnati in game 2 if it beats Wake, which is a team that runs a lot. That could turn into a problem. So if it's me and I'm Tony Vitello, and he knows a lot more baseball than I do, I think I go Phillips. And I think I was hearing today, and we're doing this Sunday night, that might be the plan.
Okay. That's just the thought there, because I know some Tennessee fans were talking about it. Nonetheless, I got to give Miami credit where credit's due. Very good team for the MAC, second in the league in hitting, up there in the top 5 in pitching. Katski's got a lot to do with that. The rotation for them has been solid, especially at the end of the year, obviously going and winning the MAC tournament. This is it's a team that's been very good for mid-major's sake. It's just going to be interesting to see, though, how they adjust to playing in Lindsey Nelson, because they haven't played anywhere like that yet. I guess the prediction for this game, not really expecting anything out of the ordinary. Maybe some struggles early from Tennessee to get adjusted, but I think being at home is going to wake them up. Give me Tennessee and a pretty big victory.
Yeah, you never really like to see a 4 with the guy, and it feels like Miami's got one here, but you also don't know how that's going to translate to this kind of stage. I'll go with you. I'll take the Vols in the opener. We've got Wake Forest in game 2 against Cincinnati. I presume Wake will throw Blake Morningstar, 72 innings, 271 ERA this year, with a 27% strikeout rate. And yeah, does a pretty good job on the whole. Has a 2.6% home run rate. So he gives up a few homers. He'll face a lineup in Cincinnati, and Morningstar is a righty. Cincinnati is going to throw out a lineup up there that's mostly righties. Again, they run a whole lot. You had Landon Bedurick, I guess is his name, stole, 37 bases this year. They had 4 other guys that stole double-digit stolen bases. 70 home runs as a team, put 2 guys in double digits. Yeah, this is just kind of an okay offense and an okay pitching staff. Not a lot that really stands out for the Bearcats. I think they'll go with Nathan Taylor, who's a lefty, 81 innings, 367 ERA, gave up 1.35 runners per inning. And, boy, talk about home run rates, 0.3%. So he barely gives up any home runs. That is going to be something that could come into play in that ballpark, too. He is a righty. Wake's lineup, which has got some really good players in it. Marek Houston, probably going to be a first-rounder this year. A couple other draft picks in there potentially. Both offensively. Ethan Conrad, one of those guys that I think is probably going to get his name called pretty early in the draft, who missed some time this year. Yeah, I mean, it's a mostly right-handed lineup, as best I can tell. What do we think about this one? I just tend to think Wake wins this one on talent alone.
I think so too. Kade Lewis, another big draft prospect to mention. He was second team all ACC this year. I guess the weird thing about Wake this year, maybe you expected them to be more competitive toward the top of the ACC. Did not have a good run in Durham in the ACC tournament. Were knocked out pretty early. Nonetheless, though, this is a team, Chris, that's as steady as they come. 4th in the ACC in batting average, 4th in the ACC in pitching. One thing to make note of, though, they are the worst fielding team in the ACC this year. So that is one thing to make a note of. That can get dicey, right, with the Cincinnati team that likes to run if Wake Forest doesn't defend right. Sounds like another team in this regional this year that's hosting it, having same defensive problems. So that's something to watch out for, especially in this game. As for Cincinnati, got to shout out Carrington Cross, right? Big 12 player of the year, massive year from him. 399 batting average, 12 home runs, 49 RBIs this year, and a 525 on base percentage. So you're going to have to circle him on the lineup cards. Pretty big toss-up of a game to me. I think that the defense, at least for Wake Forest, stands out a little bit. I think it's going to be a very close game here initially, but I do think Wake Forest with the start from Morningstar, as well as the talent, like you said, gets them to edge out Cincinnati just a little bit.
Yeah, 525 is a crazy on-base percentage, and he was 1 point from hitting 400. We'll see if he gets over that in the regional. And by the way, Ethan Conrad for Wake, I forgot. He's hurt and done for the year. So scratch that one off your players to watch. I think, again, I'm going to go talent and take Wake in this, but whoever wins this one is I think, an interesting one for the second round. I think if we're both going Wake, I would probably like Cincinnati to eliminate Miami at that point. Although Miami's got some okay pitching left, but I think we'll go probably Cincinnati to win the losers bracket game that morning, and Wake and Tennessee in the all-important Saturday night game where we'll see Liam Doyle for the Vols, and we would see in that case, I guess, Matthew Dallas for Wake, who was wearing orange and white a year ago.
Very, very big homecoming for him, especially the guy he's matching up against. That is a career memory type of game for Mr. Matthew Dallas, if that ends up being the case. So one to watch if everything works out the way we're predicting it.
Yeah. Who are we taking in the winner's bracket game? I mean, Liam Doyle feels like he's going to be tough to beat in that spot, although the last two outings were not as effective, of course, and I do worry about the potential lingering blister issue.
I do think if he gets a rest, that will get better, and I think the postseason is going to amp him up enough. I think Tennessee, Chris, got a favorable enough draw to where they'll get out of this regional, maybe not unscathed, maybe take a loss in there somewhere, but get out of it in the end from being at home. We saw, we saw them wake up a little bit in Hoover once they realized, hey, we're playing postseason baseball now, and get two big-time wins over Alabama and Texas. I think that energy is going to translate a little bit, and I think even with maybe a loss thrown in there from an off game, they'll be able to get out of Knoxville okay and into the super regional round.
Yeah, the tough point about being in the losers bracket in these regionals, of course, is that, you got to play extra games. And I think if the Vols get up 2-0, which it feels like this sets up for, now they're pitching, Tegan Coons has been uneven lately, very talented, but also he's a freshman. And again, the bullpen has struggled. But, this is not the SEC we're seeing here. Although Wake is a very good team, Cincinnati a fine team as well. I kind of feel like Tennessee's pitching issues get mitigated just a little bit. No, by the way, you got A.J. Russell, who got stretched out in the SEC tournament too. Maybe he's the 3. Maybe they can get him 5 or 6 innings. And if Tennessee does that and it's able to advance, which I think it will, it's going to feel a lot better about itself heading into what I would think would be a date with Arkansas in Fayetteville.
Me as well. Ditto.
Yeah. So we're going the Vols, maybe 3-0. Again, Tennessee struggled lately at home, but this is not SEC teams you're playing every night. I think Tennessee will probably get its second win and respond and set up what I think will be a fascinating matchup if Arkansas can emerge and get to the second weekend. We'll preview that one as well as every single SEC series. Hope you'll be here for that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's free. And leave us a thumbs up if you don't mind. That helps our ratings here at YouTube. For Alfred Ezman, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. Thanks for watching Southeastern 16. We'll see you again with more NCAA tournament content.